What's going on, guys? It's Divine here, and today we are taking a look at what you should do during your first 30 minutes in New World. So, as the day of this recording, today is actually the last day of beta, and I know many people are very excited when this game comes out at the end of the month. And the whole reasoning behind this video is actually to show you guys how to come out of here the first 30 minutes of the tutorial kind of area the strongest possible. So, when we come out into our first major town, we're probably going to be sitting between level 5 and level 6, and probably have a good head start on some of our skills as well. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. All right, and we're off, guys. We just landed on the beach, and we need to go to the watchtower to actually talk to our initial quest giver, but along the way, we're going to pick up some flint. So this flint is actually going to be used to create all of our tools initially, so we need one flint and one greenwood per item. But I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of bulk pick up a bunch because it is actually very beneficial later on just to have a bunch of it in your bank, especially in the early stages of the game. So continuing into the encampment, what we're going to do is talk to this guy. He's going to give us a free pair of boots for completing his initial talk to quest. We'll accept the next one and then go over here and pick up these blue chapter pages. Now, these chapter pages are scattered around the world. They explain some of the lore going on within the game itself. But the nice thing about these pages is they actually give you XP. And later in the video, I will actually show you how to utilize these pages to kind of exploit a little bit more XP, and you can almost get a full entire level out of your first town that you're going to visit, which will be really nice. Now, before I get off too big of a tangent here, I'm actually headed over here to collect a couple of these bushes. Now, these bushes don't require any kind of tool to collect the wood from them, but that's how you're going to get your early stages of green wood. Now, you're going to see me go a little bit overboard with collecting more bushes than I actually need, because I only need, I believe, 4 and 4 flint, but like I said, I like to hoard supplies, especially early on. It helps you get a lot of skilling levels when you make it all the way to your first town. So we'll just pick a few more bushes here before we head back over to the campfire. And the thing to note with the campfire is actually that's going to be our crafting station in this area right now. When you get the ability to actually make your own campsite, you will have a campfire that you can make all of these items to kind of anywhere in the world you want, but they are kind of limited. So you're not going to have the greatest availability to build everything you want, even with the higher tiered campsites. They still are very limited, where you are probably most likely going to want to go to town to make a lot of the items that you want to. Plus, you get a lot more bonuses when you make them in town as well. So now that we have all our tools equipped, basically the way I'm equipping these is just double clicking to equip them easily, but you can click and drag them over into your inventory. Now that we're done with that, we're actually going to go over here. I saw a good cluster of flint, and like I said with the greenwood, I'm just going to collect a bunch. It does burn a little bit of your time, but picking up flint is fairly quick, so we'll just pick up a couple of these different clusters before we actually go and finish this quest real quick. Don't feel obligated to collect this many resources. The reason I'm collecting so much flint, and especially when the game comes out, I will be doing a lot in the starting area, is because there's a good abundance in these starting areas. And then I will actually be rocking the bow. So to make arrows, it does require 5 flint per stack of arrows that you can build. So it does actually require quite a bit of flint, especially if you want to build 500, which is the max amount that you can actually carry. Now, after I kill that enemy, what I'm going to do is come over here to the supply cache. Again, guys, you need to be on the lookout for these. They'll be called different things. There's supply caches, supply crates, supply chests. You want to find all these that you can. You'll get anything from ammo, potions, food, weapons, and armor. So you can actually see me jump right over that ship. We'll kill this guy, and there's actually another cache right here. Basically have your head on a swivel at any given time, because these are very, very essential throughout the game, and you're going to want to keep your eye out for them. And now that we've had this quest all completed, what we're going to do is go head back. We can see the enemy was chasing somebody all the way over here, but we're going to go back to our watchtower here and turn in that quest. And we'll just continue our run over here, even though these runs sometimes can feel a little bit too long. But we'll go ahead and turn in this quest for our legs, accept our next quest that'll give us a shirt. And then I'm just going to double click and wear those legs. So be on the lookout for new armor that you get. You just want to equip it as fast as possible because you're going to get new armor very, very quickly with these quests. And now for our next quest, we need to go hunt a boar. Now these boars are going to be in the grassy areas right near the starting area, so they won't be located on the beach, but we'll go ahead and kill him. And we actually got a level off of that, so what I'm going to do is stop mid-skinning, just throw in some points, but you can see that it didn't actually stop the skinning, which is kind of nice. You can bring up that menu, put your points in while you're kind of doing those tasks in the background, which is super nice. And now that we have our meat, we're actually going to start running back. But before we go all the way back, one thing to be on the lookout is herbs. These things look like purple flowers. And if you see them in anywhere in your starting area, I would recommend that you pick them. You will get different types of spices depending on which area you're in. But like I said, they're going to be very useful later on for cooking, and they're a little bit harder to find, I think. Especially when there's a lot of people in the world. A lot of people are doing skills or anything like that. You will find it a little bit more difficult to find these kind of plants. So anytime you see them, I would recommend picking them up and getting some harvesting experience as well. But you can see there we cooked our food for our quest and we accepted our next one. So I'm going to actually skip ahead here. What we're going to do is just run around here and complete this quest. So while we're out there, we're actually going to be looking for any kind of blue pages, any kind of supply crates, and just kind of fighting enemies along the way and hopefully picking up an extra weapon or armor that we find out here. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so we can continue on with how we should spend the rest of our 30 minutes. Alright, so we can see that we've gotten to the herbs, and I'm going to slow down the video back to real time here. What I found was a large stack of herbs. If you guys find these, like I said before, you want to make sure that you grab them. People are going to be snagging them anytime they show up, especially early on when the game releases. So now that we have most of our quests complete, we're going to go over here and talk to this guy again, turn in our quests, and now our last quest is to go to our main town. So we've basically done our full 30 minutes here. It will usually take about the last bit of your time to go all the way back to town. And note, before you go all the way back to town, feel free to fill up your inventory, especially along the way if you find any kind of ores, iron ore or anything like that along the way. It's always beneficial to snag that while you're going back to town. But what we're going to do is actually jump to town, and I'm going to show you guys something that you can kind of sneakily almost get a free level once you hit your first town. Alright, so before we jump into some gameplay of where some of these blue pages are, I wanted to show you guys the online New World map. Now this map is very beneficial. Basically, it will show you anything and everything you've ever wanted to know, but when you first load it up, it's going to look something like this. Now, this is a giant mess. Very, very hard to read. If you zoom in, it gets a little bit better, but you really have to zoom in. But I'm going to show you guys how to clean this up and make it really nice, easy to read. So we'll go over here to filters. We're going to go ahead and hide all. Now, most of us are going to be pretty new and not know exactly where everything is on the map, but if you do, feel free to skip this step right here. But I'm going to go ahead and click on cities. Now this is going to give me a little bit better reference of where I am on the map and where the cities are actually positioned to where I need to go. Next, we're going to go down here in documents. Now we're going to hit select all. These little blue documents that are showing up are those blue pages on the map that I've been bringing up throughout this video. Now these, each one of these will give you anywhere between about 50 and 70 experience. And as you can see, since my first town is Windsward Town, that's a lot of extra XP right there just by simply having to go to the town already and just walking around and finding them. And honestly, that is probably enough that will actually get me a whole nother level, or you guys a whole nother level when you make it to town, wherever your starting area actually ends up being. Now we're looking at First Light Town. You will notice that the rest of these towns don't have as many in the town that you can actually find. But feel free, if you want to travel to these other towns to take advantage of getting all these blue pages. I believe if you do the main story, it'll actually take you to each one of these starting towns. But one thing to note with Everfall is that this town actually has 3 above it in the north, but these are guarded by enemies. So be aware of that, especially if you go out there and you're not prepared for it. But now we're going to take a little bit of gameplay footage here, and you can just kind of see how all of these blue pages are actually sitting in the world. Now, they're not too hidden or anything like that, but they're not like super obvious either. And a good thing to note is that these will actually be in buildings, both first and second floor, even third floor in some of the inns as well. And so that's all I have for you on this video today, guys. That was my first 30 minutes of a new character and how I'm probably going to play when the game comes out. So hopefully you found some useful tips that you can take from this video when the game does come out at the end of the month and utilize it towards your character build. But until the next video, guys, I will see you and have a good day.